esteemed guest Nakul ji. Nakul bhaiya he was working with American technology before moving to the ashram, and he has been teaching to many age groups, and currently he is heading the Shri Shri Publication Trust based at Bangalore Ashram. So we welcome you, Nakul bhaiya.
Thank you so much.
And it's a very great for me to sit next to you and ask you certain things today. What is Navratri for you?
Navratri is a very special time for all of us. The main thing is that you get to see Gurudev in a mode that you don't get to see him in through the rest of the year. So this is a time when he is also in silence, it's very different to watch him in that mode. You only get to see him in satsangs. And along with Gurudev, there are a few thousand people who are also in silence. So the atmosphere is very silent, but it's very charged. Yeah. It's not inactive silence. It's not dead silence. Yeah. It's very charged silence. Yeah. So typically when you say Navratri, what comes to mind is this charged atmosphere, and as Gurudev walks in for satsang, and he's very still and relaxed yet focused. So it's a very you see the opposites in him, like you don't at other times of the year. Yeah. So Navratri is a very special environment, time. There are people who come in from around the world, across the world, and a lot of them, this is their annual trip to the ashram, or sometimes people come after many years, after a few years. We are always short of accommodation in the ashram. So even this year, like other years, the accommodation, Navratri accommodation got full within hours. Yeah. So it's like a lottery, and people come in with and their devotion. There's thousands of people in silence and anticipating every move from Gurudev. So it's a very keen and very charged atmosphere, which is very healing in its own way. Yeah. Very powerful and very healing. And the devotion that Gurudev has invoked across millions of people, you get to see the scale of that in events like this, in Shivratri, in Navaratri. I particularly like to see people's faces when they are taking darshan from Gurudev. So while Gurudev also is in a very benign, benevolent mood while giving darshan, but the joy on people's faces when they just for a few seconds as he passes by them, or they walk through the darshan line, just a few seconds they just light up. And so that is one of the highlights of the Navratri also.
So what has been your experience for Navratris? You have been associated with Art of Living so long. So what is your experience with Navratri, your personal experience?
So I also look forward to Navratri a lot. I have over time, I was not growing up. I was not a regular person to visit temples, and I was not very religious. But after I started coming to the ashram, the Rudra Puja and the Devi Puja are regular events, weekly events at the ashram, and Gurudev would come, so we would all be present. And over time, I developed a taste for the pujas. And after I moved here to the ashram, there came a time when I would look forward to pujas like it's food. In some strange way. I said because the children who chant from our Gurukul, the children who chant the mantra, they chant in such unison. And I had never seen pujas done like this ever outside. I grew up in Chandigarh in the north, so there pujas happen not so properly. Nothing to take away from the pujas there, but it's just that I have not seen, like this. And the chants that children, the way they sing, and the mood that Gurudev is in pujas, also I had not seen. So Navratri is a mystical time, is a very mystical time, because we invoke different deities as well. And as Gurudev has explained, these are different aspects of the same divinity. One is the narrative behind Navratri. Gurudev has spoken so much on Navratri, but over the years, it also translates to experience. It's not just theoretical, something that you read in a book and that's that, but it translates to an experience also. So, and that experience keeps getting more and more powerful. So that's what I like about Navratri.
Great. In past few years, I have seen Gurudev, like you have been reading Tripura Rahasya during the Navratri satsangs.
Yeah.
So, what is its relation with Navratri? Is there any relation, or is just to soak in it's for that energy?
I think the relation is that Tripura Rahasya is about the Devi, and Navratri is also about the Devi.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any other relation, but I think Gurudev, Navratri is like an offering. In one of the yagyas we have different kinds of offering, music and different instruments, dance, all sorts of offerings that we put in the pujas anyway. So knowledge also becomes an offering.
Correct.
I think Gurudev likes to bring diversity and add more and more variety. So that's how.
So how one can participate? Like if any of our viewers want to participate in pujas, what is the best way to participate in it?
Best way is to be here, but if you've not been able to, for whatever reason, you can join us online. We've got live webcast of all the pujas and homas, and you are very welcome to join us online. Nothing like it.
That's a very big blessing. Like we have online webcast of all the pujas from, and so Navratri pujas are happening at multiple locations in other ashram. What is the purpose behind it?
These pujas, like I said, as I came to the ashram and I started sitting in these pujas, they definitely have an impact. I felt it, and evidently everybody around me also felt it. And Gurudev says when you do a puja, it's not just few people who benefit, the whole environment benefits. So the more places where these pujas happen, the more purification happens, the more harmony there is. And you cannot have, looking at the world today, you cannot have enough harmony. We need more and more. So the more the merrier. And also, these occasions I've seen, like I shared, it is an excuse for the devotion to come out. Normally in daily life, perhaps not so many opportunities arise, but this is a time when you take some time off. You're in silence. You do the course, and you're sitting in puja, and you're not occupied by anything else. You give some time to yourself, and through that to divinity, and you experience that connect. between yourself and divinity.
Divinity.
So it's definitely a time for recharge and rejuvenate.
That's really true. Recharge and rejuvenate. And you have been saying devotion like just like too many times right now. So what exactly the devotion means? Like people today have a different definitions of, like there are different definitions of devotion outside.
Yeah.
So what exactly devotion means?
So you know how Gurudev explains, he explains faith. He says, if you are able to love, or if you are able to be in love with something you don't understand, that's faith. And so he says, see, you don't know what's going on in the pujas, but still you sit.
Interesting.
So he says that's faith, that's devotion. And last year, when Gurudev was talking after the big pujas got over, and Gurudev was talking, it's a very technical process, doing all these pujas, which ahuti goes in the fire at what time, what mantras are chanted. It's a very elaborate process, very, very technical, very elaborate, and it's handed down to us from generations. So you know, what struck me was Gurudev doesn't go into the details, into the technical details, which deity, which yagya, what is the specialty, and all that. Last year he said very simply and so beautifully, he said, love is the essence of the whole thing.
Wow.
After so many pujas and being in silence and going through, sitting for hours and hours, he says love is the essence of this whole thing, this whole elaborate whatever. It's he made it very relatable. Love is the essence of the whole thing. And if you remember, last year he was talking about the Devi, and he choked up.
Yeah.
He had to hold his tears back. And so for him, the Devi or the divine is not somewhere else. It's somebody from his reaction to, for him it's somebody relatable. The Devi is somebody he feels very intensely for, very closely for, or the Kartikeya or Shiva, Devi, Ganesha. He's very intimate with them. He has I remember in one of the Rudra Pujas, many times he pours the offering on Shiva himself, the curd or honey or buttermilk or all that. And I saw one time he was so careful in pouring the water, and with the expression that he had, I can't describe it, but it was so careful, like such a honored guest, how you would, but for somebody who looks at it from with a rational mind, it's just some ceremony, you pour one thing after the another, it's a sequence and it's done. But he brings in that emotion to this thing, and he put it so simply last year. He said, love is the essence of the whole thing.
Love is the essence.
And it was so beautiful to experience.
Love is the essence. So that's I remember that particular moment when he choked up. Exactly. So
it's not just that. I mean, this has happened a few times in satsangs also. On other occasions, on Guru Purnima, on satsangs. And if you observe what are the moments where it happens, one time it happened that he was sharing the story of Kaikai, where he was saying that everybody sees Kaikai as the villain of Ramayana, but she loved Rama. She loved Ram more than his own mother, Kaushalya. and she was the one who was looking forward to Ram being the king. And due to some reason, she was forced to send him away, and she could not share the reason with anybody, and so she took it on herself that no, I want my son Bharat to become the king. And so she, but what she had to go through for that. When he was sharing the story, he choked up. One time he was sharing the story of Mahatma Gandhi, and he was talking about his wife Kasturba, what she had to go through, and he choked up. So I have seen that whenever he talks about, one time it was
Muruga.
No, Ganesh Chaturthi.
Oh.
Ganesh Chaturthi, and we had Ganpati Homa in the morning, and from the Yagyashala to his kutir, it's a 2-minute drive. In the 2 minutes, he teared up, and he was in tears in Ganga, and so somebody asked him what happened. He said, no, there is a wave of devotion in the whole country. There's a wave of devotion. So for all the knowledge that Gurudev has, it's love ultimately which trumps everything, So that this is not in books. I mean, why we are fortunate, we see it. We get to see him,
True.
So the scriptures that I have been fortunate to study under his guidance, the description, it's if somewhere I find they're describing him. I mean, this is his description.
Wow.
So if I had read just the book, I would have understood something, but I see it live. So that's what makes it special.
Wow.
That's where we are so fortunate.
So beautiful. Now, this moment, like I'm feeling that particular devotion which you're talking about, what happens during the Navratri, and what you wait for, like you just shared with us, that you wait for that particular expressions of people when they come in front of Gurudev for darshan. So somewhere that is also part of devotion. Am I correct?
Yes, yeah.
Nice. So
and not just people here. I mean, so we are responsible for the webcast as well, and there's a big rush as Navratri approaches, and a lot of people register, and not everybody is tech savvy. Not everybody knows how to log in, how to put in the password, and there are some mismatches. Sometimes they use the wrong email. Correct. They register with a different email and they try to log in with a different email. And so last year I got one of these frantic calls. This lady, she says, I'm not able to log in. The puja started and I can't log in, and you don't understand. You don't know what I'm going through in my house. This is wrong and that is wrong, and I just want to see Gurudev. So it was so touching that I told my team that I don't want any complaints. Every single query or every single has to be resolved, because it's not just a tech supporter. It's a very emotional thing for people to be able to see Gurudev, and that is sacred. That is sacred.
True.
That is the sacred inside.
True. Completely true. Yeah. So somewhere like,
and what I like is that the innocence. Gurudev values it so much. It's not your knowledge, it's not your brilliance, it's not how intelligent you are. Your innocence and just this feeling, he values it so much, and watching him, we start valuing it. Everybody has devotion inside them, and you don't know how much. You can't really judge by their background, their words, their tone. You really can't judge anybody.
True.
One time he was sharing after Chandi Homa. He called us here only, very close by. And that time also he teared up. And he, you know what he was saying? He could not finish the sentence. He said, never use harsh words. He could not complete this sentence. He said, never use harsh words. He could not say it. He was that emotional. He had just finished the Chandi Homa. And right after that, he's also in a very delicate state. You know, after silence and so many pujas. You see, when you say God, usually people think somebody who's powerful. Being God must be really powerful. But as you get closer to divinity, and what we see in Gurudev is very, very ultra sensitive. And ultra sensitivity makes him ultra vulnerable. So, on one hand, he is able to, you know, he has the power to make a sankalpa and make an event like WCF happen. Just by sankalpa.
Correct.
It's not, nobody, I mean, you know, for an event of this scale, to do it in so many places, it's just sankalpa.
Okay.
Somebody with that power at his disposal, you see him so vulnerable.
True.
So that you get to see also in Navratri, and that is very beautiful, very beautiful.
These all things which you are sharing are literally, you know, they're touching each part of mine, and I hope it is doing the same thing to all the viewers also. Coming to the, like, you have already shared so many Guru stories in the discussions itself, but any particular Guru story you want to share, which is, it might not be related to Navratri, but something which can, like, our viewers will be, they will like it.
So I don't have a problem with most questions, but this is the hardest question every time. Please tell us a Guru story. Well, so, you know, like I said, ashram is always short on accommodation. So what we started doing a few years ago was we would give dates for every state. And 1 week you have Gujarat coming in, and the whole ashram is buzzing with Gujarati all around. And then the next week it's Tamil Nadu. So suddenly everything is Tamil. And the week after that is Punjab. And there's Bhangra happening in satsang, and people rushing to the stage. And, so one time Gurudev had just rested in the afternoon, and the previous week it was Gujarat, and this time on this day it was Tamil Nadu, and Tamil Nadu advanced course had just started. They had just gone to silence, and so Gurudev had finished his rest, and I was waiting outside in the Ganga Kutir, and Gurudev came in already, and he said, I feel so sleepy, feeling so sleepy, but duty beckons. So immediately he became alert, and he ran to the door. Duty beckons. So he could have rested a little bit more, but no, duty beckons. And we were walking, and we started walking towards Vishalakshi Mandap, and as we entered, we went to the outside area, ground floor. We were going around the building to enter from the back side. There were people pouring out of the windows. The doors were locked, and because security and everything, but people were just pouring out of the windows, and they were in silence. And the women, I mean, the expressions you should have seen on their faces, that why so late? I mean, the expression of what took you so long? And they can't say it. They can't say anything, but it's written all over their faces, especially the women. And as Gurudev came in and sat, There were 15 minutes of non-stop crying. The everybody was just crying. And so it took Gurudev a fair amount of time, 15-20 minutes to, get them to shift their mood. And after 15-20 minutes, he started talking, and then there was laughter, and it became okay. So while we were coming in, he said, the previous week was Gujarat, and he also saw the expressions, and he told us, देखो, भाषा अलग है लेकिन भाव एक है. So they speak different languages, but same emotion, same devotion. So at the core, you see this again by experience, not in concepts or not in speeches, but you see that at the very core he brings out something in you from our deepest core, where you see, everybody is the same. It unites everybody.
True. And somehow, whatever you are inciting us with, it is again and again, it is connecting with devotion and emotions.
Because what he said yesterday is love is the essence of the whole thing. So, spirituality, knowledge, all of this is only to connect with your own higher self. So what Gurudev brings to that experience is this whole creation is a living organism, living being, and you are a part of that life, that giant life, and this living being loves you unconditionally and limitlessly. So that is the whole purpose of anything in spirituality, is to find that love. Get full of that love, become full of that love.
True. Full of love, and love is the essence of the everything. That's what we should take today from this whole session. And do we have any questions from the live? Okay. Meanwhile, we check out the questions. I have one more thing to ask you. This is something related to, like, as you have spent times with Gurudev, reading through various texts. I'll not say texts, but most of the books, or say scriptures. So, you shared that you have known through those scriptures more closely. You understood that this is something which is written and the living person is there. But when you were, like, you have not been associated this much, have you ever thought that you will be like this person what you are today?
No.
Never.
No, I had not. No. That's the surprise of life.
Yeah.
And with Gurudev, the surprise keeps getting better and better. These surprises keep getting bigger and they keep getting better. But I had not imagined that my life would turn out like this.
Wow.
I'm very happy, but
innocence is being innocent is the key then.
Yeah.
Nice. So, and what it is like sharing that time with him, like when you are with him in that time, what it is like?
So initially, for the first several times, it was you're tongue-tied. I was tongue-tied. I didn't know what to say. Gradually, I gathered the courage. I saw that Gurudev is quite easygoing. So I slowly gathered the courage to be myself, and but once you are comfortable with Gurudev, then it's very normal. It's very like I remember when I came in, and I used to be a sincere seeker. I'm looking for the truth, God, truth and spirituality, samadhi. These were things were important to me. And I would see Gurudev and he would ask, have you had food? Are you happy? Everything okay? So it was always this thing only. So I used to ask my friends who were Ashramites at that time. I said, "Yeah, this is hi, hello. When do we get to the when do we go after? Have you had food? Are you happy? That's okay. But when do we discuss knowledge?" So I was very eager to, get to a point. And when I complained to my friends, I said, "When will this get?" They looked at me, they laughed. They said, "This is it." It's just, have you had food? Are you happy? So, yeah, it's very normal and very natural with Gurudev.
Yeah.
But many times I have, after I spend those few minutes or whatever time I get with him, I reflect on it. When I go back to my room, I would reflect. So I replay it several times in my mind. So I said this, and then what did he say, and what was his tone, and what was his expression, what could he have meant, so I replay it over and over and over, and that gives rise to many meanings that I would have skipped when it was happening. So many times I'm not able to understand, and when I replay it in my mind, this is what Gurudev was saying. This is what he meant, and I couldn't get it.
Wow.
So I revise my time with Gurudev.
So we have one question, and it is very interesting.
Sure.
That someone is asking that how to ask question to Gurudev in satsang.
How to ask questions? How to ask questions? I would say do some homework yourself. Many times the question is missing in a jigsaw puzzle. One part which is missing, that's the question. So if you're aware of what it is that you want to know, you're somewhere aware of what piece will fit there. If you're aware of the void, the gap, you know what piece will fit there. So you're somewhat aware of the answer also. So do a little bit of homework, and then when you realize that, this is what I want to know, then you'll get a more meaningful answer from Gurudev.
I hope you all got, whosoever has asked this, they know the answer now. So now it has a wonderful discussion here, and definitely we all have got a very delightful sacred insights. And so just again repeating to everyone that if you think you cannot come to ashram for Navratri pujas, register yourself for a webcast, online webcast, and register it now, so you have complete time to understand all the basics. But don't worry, still you can come in the end moment and register. Choice is yours. So thank you everyone. Thank you Nakul Bhaiya for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Lovely talking to you.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.